anywhere east of this line, still want to remain on guard as this line of storms pushes in. We can give you an all clear in Jonesville, though. We can give you an all clear in Pennington Gap. Remember, 6 inches of water. That's all it takes to knock a person off their feet. 12 inches of water can sweep away a car. Most of the temperatures right now are in the 50s and 60s across this Dylan. He met us last year in the Storm Tracker Tour, and we brought our weather center, but he brought his own. Rain going into Hampton Roads, winds out of the northeast here, helping to shove some of that water up into the Chesapeake Bay. So you come towards Kingsport Speedway, Highway 93. This is East Stone Drive going down this way. That's going to be the areas where these storms move in. Traveling along 11E, we just made our way into Piney Flats, and one of the things we're seeing is just some wet roads still. Here's how much additional snow we expect, relatively light amounts. What's changed since last night, or maybe the last time you watched? All that moisture put right up into our area. We're talking about a classic heavy rainfall setup as we go into this work week. Highway overpasses are one of the worst spots where you can take shelter during a tornado. Well, 2019 is continuing our trend of wet years. Look at last year, 2018, and you'll notice it was pretty wet too. And our top 5 wettest years on record. Right now we're sitting at number 3 in terms of wettest years on record. And I show you this because we're going to see more rain here over the next 24 to 48 hours. A flood watch, meaning flooding is possible, in effect for Dickinson, Buchanan, Leslie, Letcher, and Harlan counties, and pretty much all of eastern and central Kentucky. And that's because those areas are going to see higher chances for rain throughout the day on Monday. We're going to stay mainly dry in the Tri-Cities, but periods of rain, locally heavy at times, are on the way as we go into Monday night and early Tuesday. Dry outside right now. Take a live view here from Jonesboro from our rail camera. Appreciate them letting us use that camera. You can see some rain here pushing across parts of the areas across Ohio into Illinois. A lot of that's actually snow in some cases falling across that region. We're not going to see any of that tonight. We'll see partly cloudy skies, temperatures cooling down into the upper 30s to low 40s for lows tonight. And as we go into tomorrow, boy, it's going to be a very nice warm day. We're talking about temperatures in the 50s and 60s. Yes, 60s. I had to find the digit there on the keyboard when I was typing all this in because it has been a while since we've had some nice warm temperatures like this. Tomorrow's going to be a very above average day by about 10 to 15 degrees in spots. Now, of course, when we get warm weather like this in the month of December, it's not supposed to happen. So nature's got to balance itself out, and the way it does that is through showers and storms. Main severe weather risk tomorrow is south and west of us. Higher risk towards Jackson, Mississippi, into parts of western Alabama. Zooming in closer to home here, you'll notice the level 1 risk does not extend up into our area. It gets almost as close as Knoxville, but I can still see a couple showers and storms forming tomorrow, especially late into the evening and overnight, that could produce some gusty winds and some rumbles of thunder. I asked earlier on my Facebook page if you believe the old wise tale or the rule of thumb that when we get thunder, it snows shortly after. We'll have to see if that works out. Doesn't always work out when you look at the record books, but interesting to track either way. Certainly we do get some thunder tomorrow night. Here's the rain by 3:30 in the morning. Notice Kentucky and parts of southwest Virginia are already getting in on some of that rain, and that's what's going to be going on through the morning hours. A spotty shower or two possible across the valleys, but periods of rain locally heavy across Kentucky and into a few counties there along the Virginia-Kentucky line through the day on Monday. Now that rain system advances off towards the east by around 8 o'clock, moving into the Tri-Cities between around 8 and midnight tomorrow with pockets of moderate to at times heavy rain, and that lasts in scattered nature through the overnight and into the day on Tuesday. Now then on Tuesday, colder air comes in, and I'm talking really cold, all right? About 30 degrees colder than what we're going to see on Monday. Temperatures are going to plummet. We could even see a few snow showers on the mountain peaks. How much rain? Well, 2 to 4 inches across Kentucky, close to the Virginia-Kentucky line, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Locally higher amounts possible, about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. Expected across the Tri-Cities area. 7-day forecast looks like this. Notice, as I talked about, temperatures on Tuesday down to 45 for a high. That's because they're going to be falling through much of the day. Let's show you that. As we start off in the morning, what we're going to notice is temperatures actually warmer than we will see late in the afternoon. By around lunchtime, we'll already be down into the mid-40s to low 40s across the area. And here is Tuesday evening around 5 o'clock. Temperatures already in the 30s and low 40s. So a very chilly day Tuesday, breezy as well, which will make it feel even colder when you combine the wind and the temperatures together there. It'll feel like at times the low 30s, if not below freezing. Somewhere on this planet at any given second, 100 lightning bolts are striking the Earth's surface with a temperature that is hotter than the surface of the sun. That's scary stuff. So it's no wonder that people are afraid of storms. ETSU professor Wallace Dixon says the fear of storms is as old as man.
Gods have been named after elements in the weather because that's one way that they can try to understand the weather is by saying that, it's caused by the god of thunder.
And that fear has been handed down for generations. Little Emery is your typical 5-year-old until the storms roll in.
She's been scared of loud noises forever. Since she was a small baby.
The sound of thunder triggers her fear.
I just get scared and go to mommy.
Dixon says our reflexive response is at play here.
Can't avoid responding to sudden, unexpected, intense stimuli, right? So you see a bright light and you shine your eyes and you hear thunder and you jump out of your seat.
Kids look to their parents to see how they should react. That's why it's important to use positive reinforcement when talking about storms. When a loud crack of thunder happens, avoid words like whoa or that was scary. Instead, say phrases such as that was cool or that was a good one. Another tip, make storm time interesting. Build a blanket for it ahead of time, complete with all the necessary storm supplies such as a flashlight, a favorite toy or game for the kids, and some snacks. That way, when the storms roll in, they're not as scary. For adults, the fear of storms can cause even more problems. Disruptions to their lives, work, or families can occur. Len Carricker's fear of storms developed as a child, but continued into her adult life.
I think it has a lot to do more now with social media because you can't not get away from it.
Seeing images of destruction can cause you to think differently, says Professor Dixon.
Your anchor of what the definition of a storm is has been pulled into the direction of more devastation because of the availability of the images that you have.
Remember, knowledge is power. Knowing the difference between a watch and a warning can help ease your fears. Read a book on storms. Do some research. Often, if you understand something, it's not as scary. If nothing works and you're still scared, it's important to know when to get professional help.
When it's interfering with your functioning, that's when you want to get some sort of help. Are you doing things in your day to go out of your way to miss something that could be a weather event and compromising your ability to do your job or to be a member of your family?
For News 5, I'm meteorologist Ricky Matthews.
90 years ago, a tornado hit Rye Cove, Virginia in Scott County. It killed 13 people and it caused a path of destruction.
Meteorologist Ricky Matthews taking a look back at the deadliest twister ever in Virginia and how music helped the community heal.
Rye Cove, Rye Cove, Rye Cove, Rye Cove. Leafy, come up here just a minute and tell these folks about that number you just sang, will you?
Thank you, Brother Bill. That was a tragedy song that I composed about a cyclone that came through Scott County, Virginia, and killed probably 20 or 25 little school children.
Thursday, May 2nd, 1929. A day many in Rye Cove thought was unthinkable.
Everybody was stunned by it, I think. In reading about it, it stretched evidently at one point, or started in Oklahoma and made its way all the way to Maryland. And then when it hit Rye Cove, it was categorized as an F2, which I have never heard of around here in my lifetime.
Early in the afternoon, a twister descended from the clouds. When the tornado touched down in Rye Cove, there was little warning. 1929 was way before tornado warnings were ever issued and before weather radar was invented. The twister hit the Rye Cove schoolhouse, where recess had just ended. The storm struck with such a force, it flattened the school. In those days, word traveled slow. Aid was slow to arrive at first, but nearby was a man many are familiar with, A.P. Carter.
He heard about the cyclone and all the destruction, so he just made his way over to help with the relief efforts.
Following the storm, A.P. wrote a song called The Cyclone of Rye Cove.
Rye Cove, Rye Cove, Rye Cove, Rye Cove, the place of my childhood and home.
He was kind of private and guarded, but through music he could say the things that maybe he would not say otherwise. But I was looking, calculating, of course he was born in 1891, he would have been 37 years old at the time in 1929. So he would have had 3 children who were roughly the same ages of the children who were killed and injured. So naturally, of course, being the good Christian man that he was, he wanted to do everything that he could.
The F3 tornado killed 13 people, 12 students and a teacher. 54 people were injured. To this day, the twister is still the deadliest in Virginia history.